In this episode, we're going to be making mac and cheese two ways. A French onion soup mac and cheese, which is my favorite recipe for a mac and cheese, and another really delicious recipe, a spicy gochujang mac and cheese topped with really crispy fried Nashville chicken. Let's get stuck in and I'm going to show you how to make the perfect mac and cheese. The key to a good bechamel is achieving a silky smooth consistency. To begin, melt 110 grams of unsalted butter in a saucepan over a medium heat, then add in 110 grams of all-purpose flour. Mix the flour and butter together until it forms a paste, then cook for a few minutes to remove some of the floury taste. The next step takes a bit of patience, but this is where the delicious sauce comes to light. Gradually add in 1.1 litres of cold whole milk, constantly whisking so no lumps form. Take your time here and add in the milk in small batches, otherwise it won't mix properly and you will end up with a lumpy sauce. This is not what we want. Just look at how glossy that bechamel sauce is. This is perfect for loads of different dishes. This is the base for our mac and cheese. I'm going to take this and I'm going to do two variations now for the mac and cheese. This bechamel sauce is also a great recipe. You can use it for lasagna, you can use it for lots of other things. So knowing how to make a bechamel sauce is key and makes you a better cook overall if you know how to do this, because it is in so many different recipes. For our first dish, we are making the delicious French onion soup mac and cheese. To start with, we need to make the caramelized onions. So peel and julienne 3 white onions. Into a large pan, add a few large knobs of butter, around 65 grams, then add in the onions, season with salt. Adding the salt here helps speed up the caramelization as it draws out the water from the onions a lot quicker. Then cook them over medium heat for about 30 to 40 minutes until they reach a dark golden brown color. Turn the heat to medium high and add in 1 tablespoon of finely chopped thyme and 300 millimeters of good quality beef stock. Mix this together and cook for another 10 minutes until most of the stock has been absorbed and evaporated. And there you are left with the delicious French onion soup style caramelized onions. These will be some of the tastiest caramelized onions you guys will have ever had. So you're gonna set them aside and we're gonna add them back into the mac and cheese in a little bit. For the French onion soup mac and cheese itself, add in 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard to the bechamel sauce we prepared earlier, alongside 5 gratings of nutmeg, 2/3 of the caramelized onions, 100 grams of grated mozzarella cheese, 100 grams of grated Gruyere cheese. This is the essential cheese as this is the flavor of a French onion soup, and then season with salt and pepper to taste. Mix this together well until all of the cheese has melted and then set aside until ready to build mac and cheese later. To make the breadcrumbs, grab yourself a small baguette and cut this into discs. Add them into a bowl with 3 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of finely chopped thyme and a pinch of salt. Mix this all together until all of the bread is coated in the herby oil, then lay them out onto a tray, place them into the oven to toast under a hot grill for about 5 to 10 minutes on both sides until golden and crisp. Remove them from the oven, then add them into a blender or food processor, doesn't really matter which, then blitz them on high until they form a coarse breadcrumb. Set this aside until you're ready to use as the topping later on. Finally, we need to prepare the pasta. So add the dried pasta into a large pan of salted boiling water and cook for 8 to 10 minutes until just al dente. We want this to be al dente here as it will continue to cook once we add in the hot bechamel sauce and place it into the oven later. Make sure to save a little pasta water here in case you need it. Then mix together the French onion bechamel sauce with the pasta and then tip this into a baking dish. If it is quite thick at this point, you can add in some pasta water at this point to loosen it up, but sometimes you may not need it, sometimes you might need it. Just play this by ear and kind of see how you get on. Then top this with the remaining caramelized onions, a generous handful of the herby breadcrumbs, and some extra grated Gruyere and mozzarella. Place this back into the oven for 10 minutes under a grill on high to melt the cheese, then remove from the oven, leave to sit for a few minutes, then serve. This is one of the tastiest mac and cheese recipes out there, and it never fails to please. And this is the French onion mac and cheese, one of my favorite ways to have mac and cheese, and I think you guys will absolutely love it. This is so good. You've got the really sweet, rich, salty onions. You've got the crispy breadcrumbs on the top. The pasta's cooked perfectly. The sauce is really nice and rich and rounded. You've got the little hint of nutmeg and Dijon mustard. I have to say, this is going to be pretty hard to beat. Moving on to the second mac and cheese recipe. Using a portion of the bechamel we prepared earlier, add in 2 heaped teaspoon of gochujang paste, a 1/4 teaspoon of miso paste, a handful of finely chopped parsley, season with some black pepper, add in 100 grams of mozzarella, 100 grams of cheddar cheese, and 100 grams of red Leicester cheese, 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, then mix this all together until the cheese is melted. Then grate in half a clove of garlic and mix this in. Now, because there are a few acidic ingredients in this sauce, it won't be as stretchy as the other mac and cheese recipe because acidity prevents this stretchiness a little. However, it will still be silky smooth and very cheesy. This is what we really want. For the chicken, we want to add some chicken thighs into a bowl and cover with buttermilk. To season, we want to add in 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. Season with salt and pepper, then add in a splash of pickle juice, mix this together and leave to marinate for at least a few hours or overnight ideally to tenderize and build flavor into the chicken. When we're ready to cook, add half a cup of plain flour and half a cup of rice flour to a dish. Season this with some garlic powder and mix that together. Then a piece at a time, add the chicken thighs to the flour, pressing this right down into the flour to get an even coating and some nice craggy edges. Then get ready to fry. In batches, we want to fry the chicken for 7 to 8 minutes in 180 degrees Celsius or 355 degrees Fahrenheit oil until golden and crisp on the outside. Once you've cooked the chicken, set this aside onto a tray and repeat with the remaining pieces. And then at this point, you can actually chill or freeze the chicken and fry it again the next day. This is a great way to prepare in advance and is highly underrated in my opinion. You can always second fry right away, but sometimes I like to prep this in advance as it makes the cooking on the day a lot easier. Here, as you can see, I went with the freezing option to show that this works really well. Reheat the oil to 180 degrees Celsius or 355 degrees Fahrenheit, then place in the chicken and cook for another 8 to 10 minutes until it has heated up and is hot in the inside, not frozen anymore, and the chicken is golden brown and crisp on the outside. Set this aside onto a tray whilst we prepare the other sauce. Into a new bowl, add 2 teaspoons of cayenne pepper, 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, a pinch of salt, and then 1 cup of the hot oil from the frying, 1 teaspoon of honey, then mix this together well, and this is the Nashville fried chicken sauce. This is beautifully spiced and slightly sweet and goes really well on the crispy chicken. I like to add this into a bottle, but you can always brush this on or dip the chicken straight in. When you've got the sauce ready in a bottle, coat the pieces with some of it, then cut up into little pieces ready to add on top of the mac and cheese later. Just listen to how crispy this sounds. This is an absolute game changer. Add a portion of cooked pasta into the dish, then pour over the gochujang cheese sauce, mix this together well, then top with some more Leicester cheese, then place it into the oven and cook under a grill on high for another 5 to 10 minutes until the cheese is melted. Then remove this from the oven, sprinkle over the chopped pieces of crispy, spiced Nashville fried chicken, and then top with some finely chopped chives. This is another one of my absolute favorite ways to eat mac and cheese, and it's very, very tasty. Portion this into some bowls and then serve with some pickles on top. Trust me here, this is a must and it works so well. And here we have it, the second mac and cheese dish, our hot Nashville fried chicken, mac and cheese with a gochujang cheese sauce. This is to die for. Got to get a little bit of everything. You'd have never thought pickles on macaroni cheese would work, but something about this dish with the fried chicken goes so nicely. That is really good. I actually don't think I've had a mac and cheese like that before, and this is such a fresh take on it. So I'm really happy with that. There we have it. I've done 2 ways of making mac and cheese at home in a delicious way. You've got a basic bechamel sauce, which you can use as you want with loads of dishes. You've got a French onion soup mac and cheese and Nashville fried chicken mac and cheese. Give these a go, let me know what you think, and I will see you guys in the next episode.